Welcome to today's practical training video on the VTCT Level 3 award in facial electrotherapy, and today we're going to be focusing on the unit UV30403, which is in providing facial electrotherapy treatments. And in this video we'll go through everything that you need to know about carrying out facial electrotherapy treatment step by step. Now let's get to it. We are going to begin with how to actually set up your trolley for the treatment, and here you will find everything that you are going to need. On the left you have a list of all the skincare products that you need to have in your trolley. Now keep in mind that all clients have different skin concerns, so you'll be entirely up to you to select the most suitable skincare products depending on the client's needs. And then on the right you will find the list with all the consumables that you are going to have ready and prepared on your trolley. Make sure that your trolley and working area is set before the client arrives. Once you have everything in place, you can begin the treatment. Now let's look into what the treatment steps actually involve. And here you can see the full treatment protocol step by step, and we are going to go through each individual step in this video in a lot of detail. We do advise you to follow this treatment routine strictly, as results can be compromised if the products, the equipment or the techniques are altered or not included. Now before we go into the first step of the protocol, we need to do a few things to ensure that the treatment runs smoothly. You need to begin with having a consultation with your client, discussing what their skin concerns are. This helps you determine whether the client is suitable for the treatment and also what products you will need to use for their skin and their skin concerns. Next, you will need to check the client's consultation form for any medical history and any contraindications, as well as whether they have actually signed the consultation form. If the client has no contraindications, then you can take a before picture of the treatment area. You can put your gloves on and place a headband on the client. And now you are ready to begin the treatment. Let's look at the first step of the treatment protocol. We are going to start off with a thorough cleanse, which will ensure that there is no makeup, grime or bacteria on the skin before we go ahead with the next steps. For the cleansing routine, you have a choice of two cleansers. You have the ageless cleanser that is suitable for dry, aging and the darker skin tones, or the clarified cleanser, which is suitable for the oilier, congested and acne-prone skin types. And for this client, we went with the ageless cleanser as her skin is quite dehydrated and dull. Take the cleanser you have chosen, use 2 pumps and dispense it onto your fingertips. Emulsify the product between your fingertips and spread the cleanser starting from the chin area, moving up towards the cheeks, nose and forehead. Once the cleanser is completely on, you can start with the cleansing routine from the chin area, and for this you're going to use circular movements with your thumbs. Then slowly moving up towards the jawline, working your way up towards the cheeks, and again only using your fingertips. Then you are going to use 2 of your fingers on each hand to cleanse around the lip, going crisscross, and from there you're going to glide up towards the bridge of the nose using circular movements. And from your nose you're slowly going to go all the way to the forehead. Once that is done, you will want to do 3 circular movements around the eyes, moving inwards, and then finally finish off at the temples by applying pressure. Once the cleansing is done, you are going to need 2 damp gauzes to completely remove everything off the skin. Start from the right side of the face, one hand gliding up, followed by the other, slowly making your way up towards the cheek, and then move on to the other side of the face, repeating the exact same process. Once the cheeks are done, you are going to fold the gauzes into half and glide upwards, starting from the chin, going up towards the mouth, then the nose, and lastly coming up to the forehead. And on the forehead, move both hands sideways towards the temples and finish off the cleansing by applying pressure on the temples. If the client has lipstick on, you can carry out a lip cleanse. Apply 1 pump of the cleanser on the half cotton pad and spread it onto the other half. Start cleansing from the right side, moving to the left. Move your hands simultaneously in both directions until the lipstick is completely off. For removing eye makeup, you need to apply 1 pump of the cleanser on a half damp cotton pad and start cleansing from the right eye. Stretch the eyebrow, place the cotton pad on the eye and move downwards to take off any eye makeup. Have the cotton pad and wipe underneath the lash line, moving inwards and then outwards. Then you can move on to the left eye and repeat the exact same process until all of the eye makeup has been completely removed. After the initial cleanse, we are going to move on to the next step, which is using the hydrobrasion probe to exfoliate the skin and encourage lymphatic drainage. To use this probe, you are going to click on the diamond hydrobrasion from the menu, select the water ball of choice and press on start. From the side buttons, rotate the top one to control the intensity of the vacuum suction, rotate to the left to increase the vacuum. And on the bottom button is to actually control the water flow. Rotate to the left to increase the water flow. Once you have found the correct settings, you can begin the treatment. Start from the right side of the face near the chin area, stretch the skin using your left hand and use gliding movements with the probe. Then move on to the next area, stretch closely and work within the stretched area only. Be careful not to directly lift the suction of the skin, but rather glide and flick the probe off. Once the jawline is done, move on higher to the cheek. Make sure you're stretching at all times while using the probe, and this is to actually avoid any bruising. Do 2 passes over each area that you are working on. When the cheek is done, move on to the forehead and split this into half and move the probe outwards towards the temples. Once the right side of the forehead is done, move the probe from the temple down towards the jawline and then down towards the neck. You're going to repeat this twice. Move on to the other side of the face and repeat the exact same process. As you are going along, make sure that you are always stretching the skin and working within the stretched area. Make sure that your movements are exactly as shown here, as these are the lymphatic drainage movements that target the submental, the submandibular, and the jugular-digastric nodes that are around the jawline, and then going across the preauricular, superficial cervical, deep cervical, and supraclavicular lymph nodes going from the temples down to the neck. Once the lymphatic drainage is done, you can use the vacuum suction probe to exfoliate around the nose. Stretch the area and do 2 passes on each side of the nose. Once done, move on to the chin, stretch the area and do 2 passes as well. Then you can move on to the next step of the treatment. In this step, you are going to use the prep solution to exfoliate the skin, and for this we have a choice of 2 solutions. There is the Lumen Peel Lotion, which is suitable for the dry and the aging skin, and then you also have the Clarified Toner, which is for the oilier, congested and acne-prone skin types. And for this client, we went with the Lumen Peel Lotion as her skin is quite dehydrated. you need to dispense 3 pumps of the solution onto a damp cotton pad. Apply the solution using the cotton pad starting from the right side of the face near the chin area. Move upwards towards the jawline and make your way up towards the cheek. Then move on to the other side of the face and repeat the exact same process. The prep solution actually exfoliates the skin, removes dead skin cells, preparing it for the next step of the treatment. Once that is done, go over the forehead, moving outwards towards the temples on each side. Then go down the nose, the upper lip, and finish off at the chin. Once you've covered all areas, you can move on to the next step. And for this step, you're going to use the clarified peel mask, which is suitable for all skin types, and it has exfoliating, hydrating, and also brightening properties. Take a medium-sized glass dish and squeeze a pea-sized amount of the mask. When applying the mask, only use one finger to spread it on the skin. Start from the right side of the face near the chin, moving upwards towards the jawline and the cheeks. And once that side is done and you have evenly applied the mask, move on to the other side on the left cheek and repeat exactly the same. We use the clarified peel mask to ensure that there is no residue after the dermabrasion, and it also helps out draw any impurities out of the skin. Once the left side of the face is also done, you can move on to applying the mask all over the forehead, the nose, the upper lip, and the chin. Make sure that the mask is spread across the whole face evenly. Once the mask is completely on, you can use your fingertips to work the mask into the pores. Use very slow and gentle circular movements all around the face, allowing the mask to exfoliate the skin and penetrate into the pores. Do this for about 3 minutes and then leave the mask on the skin for another 2 minutes before completely removing it. To remove the mask, you need to use 2 damp gauzes. Start from the right side, one hand gliding up followed by the other, slowly making your way up towards the cheek, and then move on to the other side of the face, repeating the exact same process. Once that is done, you are going to fold the gauzes into half and glide upwards, starting from the chin, going up to the mouth, then to the nose, and then lastly at the forehead. Repeat this process until the mask is completely off the skin, and then you can move on to the next step. For this step, you are going to need the ageless electrogel, which is specifically formulated to conduct galvanic, microcurrent, and radio frequency electrical currents. Take a medium-sized glass dish and squeeze a pea-sized amount of the electrogel. When applying the gel, use a brush to spread it across the skin evenly. Start from the right side of the face, moving to the forehead. Repeating the exact same on the other side of the face and making sure that the gel is evenly applied all across the whole face. After we have applied the electrogel, we're going to move on to the next step, which is using the microcurrent probe. Switch on the machine and from the bottom buttons, select the lifting 1 mode. Press the up button twice to increase the intensity to 2 and then press on the start button. Start from the chin area, place the left probe on the chin and glide the right probe to the right towards the jawline. Make sure that you keep the left probe in contact with the skin at all times without moving, and repeat this 6 times. Once that is done, place both probes perpendicular towards each other and move along the jawline by pinching the skin between the two probes. We actually do this to allow the microcurrent to improve the muscle tone and the jowling. Once you have gone all the way to the jawline, make your way back to the chin area by pinching the skin along the way. Then place the left probe near the nostril and glide the right probe across the cheek. Place the right probe on the chin and glide towards the upper lip and the left probe. Then simultaneously move the two probes towards the temples. Keep the left probe on the temple and glide the right one from the inner corner of the eye towards the temple. We do this to improve muscle tone around the eye area and target crow's feet wrinkles. Use the two probes simultaneously by pinching the skin all along the eyebrow, starting from the outer corner, going to the inner corner of the eyebrow. Once that is done, move on to the forehead, and for this you will need to move the two probes simultaneously in two opposing vertical directions. Do the vertical movement all across the forehead and then switch to horizontal movements, and for this the two probes simultaneously move outwards towards the temples. Once you have gone all across the forehead, you can move on to the left side of the face and repeat the exact same movements, starting from the chin area, moving towards the cheek, the eye and the eyebrow. And then lastly, you are going to go over the chin, move the two probes simultaneously all across the chin, moving outwards. And once that is done, move the two probes simultaneously across the cheeks, chin and forehead using crisscross movements. This technique is called feathering and is used for providing a lifting effect. Once you have covered all areas, you can move on to the next step. Now we're going to move on to the next step, which is using the galvanic probe. Switch on the machine and from the bottom button select the 3D facial firming wand. Press the up button twice to increase the intensity to 2 and press on the start button. Before going ahead with the probe, make sure that the client is holding the negative probe in their hand, wrapped in a damp gauze to prevent any burns. Use the positive probe and place on the wide end onto the skin and use gliding movements starting from the chin and going up towards the jawline. Repeat this 3 times and then move on higher towards the cheek, still using gliding movements. Make sure that as you're doing this, your client is holding the negative probe, as that actually allows the electrical current to go through. Once the cheek is done, move on to the forehead without breaking contact with the skin, and again use gliding movements from the middle of the forehead, going outwards towards the temples. Once the right side of the forehead is done, move on to the left side and repeat exactly the same. Move on to the left cheek, starting from the chin, moving up towards the jawline and the cheekbone using gliding movements. We use the galvanic current to improve muscle tone and blood circulation, so it reduces puffiness and provides the skin with more firmness. Once you have done the cheek, switch to the smaller round probe and go around the eye using circular movements. The smaller probe is used for around the eye area, as it's a smaller area and more intricate, and the probe allows it to easily move around the eye. Do 3 circular movements and then move on to the right eye and do another 3 circular movements. Once that is done, switch to the white probe and glide up and down the bridge of the nose by always keeping contact with the skin. Lastly, switch to the smaller probe and do 3 circular movements around the mouth. Once that is done, you can move on to the next step. Now we are going to move on to the next step, which is using the EMS probe, which is the electrical muscular stimulation probe. For this, you need to select the lifting probe from the menu, put it on strength 1 and press on the start button. Start from the chin and use gliding movements going upwards towards the jawline. This specifically targets the DAO and the platysmal muscle, which result in jowling during the aging process. Repeat this 3 times and move higher to the cheek, starting from the corner of the mouth, moving towards the ear, and this is to target the rosorius muscle to lift the corners of the mouth. Also repeat this 3 times. Now I'm going to move higher, starting from the corner of the nose, moving up to the cheekbone, and with this you're going to target the zygomaticus minor and zygomaticus major muscle to improve the nasolabial folds and also the firmness of the cheek. Then move on to the eye area, moving from the inner corner to the outer corner of the eye, targeting the orbicularis oculi, which is to improve the crow's feet and the muscle tone around the eye area. Repeat this 3 times and then lightly move towards the edge of the eyebrow. This is to improve hooded eyelids and lift the eyebrows. Then move on to the left side of the face and repeat exactly the same. Move on from the chin area up towards the upper lip to target the orbicularis oris muscle, and this is to improve signs of aging around the mouth, such as smoker's lines. Electrical muscle stimulation is used to improve muscle tone in specific areas that experience loss of muscle tone through the aging process. This is why EMS is used for improving jowling, deep nasolabial folds, marionette lines, crow's feet, and forehead wrinkles, as it stimulates the activity of the muscles by sending electrical current. Once the left side of the face is done, move on to the forehead. Now here, starting from the middle and moving outwards towards the temples. Move the probe in a straight line towards the hairline. Once the left side is done, move on to the right side and repeat this exact same process. And for this, you're actually targeting the frontalis muscle, which will be responsible for forehead lines. Please note that you cannot carry out the EMS on anyone that has anti-wrinkle injections done, as this will immediately wear off the effect of the injections. This actually applies to any area of the face, as some clients also have anti-wrinkles done on the lower half of the face as well. When the forehead is done, you can move on to the next step. Next, you are going to carry out the massage. For this, you need to use the remaining electrogel on the face, and if it has actually dried out, gently reapply more of the gel on the skin so you can easily glide during the massage. Glide with both hands upwards towards the forehead, and then gently glide down towards the chin using 2 of your fingers. When gliding down, do not apply a lot of pressure. Repeat this 3 times and then move on to the eyes. Use your right hand to draw a figure of 8 around both eyes, and for this, you are also using your fingertips. Do this 3 times and then use both of your hands to glide up, going towards the forehead, and use your palms to glide up. Then place your left hand on the jawline and scoop up towards the temples. Then with your right hand, move across the mouth, nose and forehead, just using 1 finger. Repeat this 3 times. Move your left hand higher towards the cheek and scoop 3 times. Move on to the right side of the face and you're going to repeat exactly the same. With your right hand, scoop up, and with your left hand going across the mouth, nose and forehead. Move on to the cheek and scoop up another 3 times. Glide down to the chin, and with your thumbs you're going to use circular movements around the chin, and then slowly moving up to the upper lip, just using your fingertips and circular movements. Then just using your fingertip, scoop up the gel and move towards the nasolabial folds. Do this 3 times and then move on to the other side and repeat the exact same. Place 2 of your fingers from each hand on the skin and do a crisscross movement by moving your fingers simultaneously. Once the left cheek is done, move on to the right cheek and then lastly the forehead. Move on to the eyes and do a figure of 8, repeating this 3 times. Glide with both of your hands up to the forehead and do marble points. Place both of your thumbs in the middle of the eyebrows, do 3 slow circular movements and then apply pressure. Use your fingers to apply pressure at the temples and then move on to the nasolabial folds, the corner of the mouth, and then finally apply pressure on the chin. To finish off the massage routine, glide up to the temples and apply pressure. For the next step, you are going to apply the Clarify Moisturizer, which is hydrating and brightening and is suitable for all skin types. You will need to dispense a pea-sized amount of the moisturizer onto your fingertips. Spread the product between your fingertips and apply it starting from the chin, moving up towards the jawline and the cheeks, the nose and the forehead. Use gliding and circular movements to apply it evenly all across the face. Now we are going to move on to the next step, which is using the high frequency probe. Select the high frequency from the menu and press on the start button. You can adjust the intensity of the probe by rotating the button on the end of the probe. Before going ahead with the high frequency, unfold a gauze, place it onto the client's skin and then adjust the corners. Make sure that the gauze is actually fit to carry out the high frequency. Before placing the probe on the skin, place one of your fingers on the glass and place the glass head on the skin. Once it has contact, you can take your finger off the glass. Use circular movements starting from the chin, slowly making your way towards the jawline and then the cheek. Move up from the bridge of the nose towards the forehead without breaking contact and do circular movements all around the forehead. To take the probe off the skin, place your finger on the glass and then slowly come off the skin. Keep your finger on and place the probe on the chin, then you can let go and carry out the high frequency on the left side of the face. High frequency can be used for a variety of skin concerns such as acne, open pores, as well as fine lines and aging. Direct high frequency is great for the oily, acne-prone skin types, while the indirect high frequency is for the dry and dehydrated skin types. Once the left side of the face is done, remove the gauze and carry out the indirect high frequency. Make sure that the client is holding the grouting probe and go all around the face using quick movements with your fingertips, carrying out a Viennese massage. You can also use the high frequency directly onto the skin. With quick movement, zap specific areas on the skin. And this is great, especially for breakouts and acne. And for the last step of this treatment, you are going to apply the Illumine Moisturizer, which is actually the revival sunblock that also acts as a moisturizer and is suitable for all skin types. You will need to dispense a pea-sized amount of the moisturizer on your fingertips. Spread the product between your fingertips and apply it starting from the chin, moving up towards the jawline and the cheeks and the nose, and lastly the forehead. You're going to use gliding and circular movements to apply the sunblock evenly all across the face. Once that is done, remember to take an after photo of the client and remove the headband. And then your treatment is complete. Remember to give your client the aftercare advice. That is actually very important for them to know how to look after the skin after the treatment. You also need to recommend a suitable skincare regime for them based on their skin concerns and needs, and advise them on when the next treatment should be. And that's everything you need to know about carrying out an electrotherapy treatment.